Welcome back to Lower Keys Living, everybody. Wanted to give everybody an update on our water clarity purity situation down here. Again, this is in Cudjoe Bay where we live. Still pretty murky compared to our normal crystal clear waters, but far better than the no visibility we had last week. This is the edge of one of the outer canals, and it goes down to about 10 feet deep, and you can really only see maybe 2 or 3 feet into here. I came out to see what was going on, what was living. Found this lobster. He was keeper size, but I actually made a decision after looking at the water quality and smelling it. Just so much bacteria and stuff in the water. I am not going to eat anything out of the bay for a few weeks. I was encouraged to see a lot of these new pink star corals starting to form. Found a few clusters of these with 25, 30 in a group. So I was really happy to see that. Now, I had been hearing from friends and charter boat captains that the water, starting at Big Pine Key all the way up through Key Largo, was much, much better and back to normal. So I was super excited to hear that, especially knowing I've got some followers here on the channel that I know are vacationing in Marathon this week. So super happy that they're getting some good water. So decided to jump in the truck, drive up. This is along Bay of Honda State Park, and you just see how crystal clear it is. Totally looks amazing right up in here. Far better than where we were, and actually no comparison. So had to go up to Marathon. My daughter's getting ready to take her first solo flight, so needed to get her some time in the airplane. So we jumped in, drove up, and I really wanted to check out the water quality. You see lots of people on paddle boards, kayaks, and other boats out here lobstering. A lot of people are out here. This is going over the 7 Mile Bridge, and things are really looking back to normal here. It just made me so happy to see this, and pretty confident that our water is going to be back to that here in another few days, this week at least. So jumping in, I'm going to apologize for the video. Don't have a lot of great aerial shots on this. I mainly just mounted the camera, turned it on because I'm really focusing on getting my daughter prepped for her upcoming solo. Then she's got some flight checks going. But we did really want to see what the water quality looked like from the air. So we jumped in, and I just left this run off and on, so I cut it out, but just to give you an idea of what we did, where we were today. And I will say, if you haven't done it before, you can come to the Marathon Airport, and I think there's some out of Key West Airport, but you can actually get a little charter flight where they will take you up in a small plane or a helicopter, give you a tour, and highly encourage you to do it. Prices down here are fairly reasonable to do that. You're talking a couple $100. If you've got it, I would encourage it because nothing compares to being able to see the water down here from the air. Or if you're really brave, check out the parachute company on Sugarloaf Key and go for a parachute jump. We'll have some videos from a jump we did recently there coming up, but just incredible views, and you really get a different perspective on the waters down here that will just blow your mind away. So super highly encourage you to do that. So we jumped in the plane and headed up over the Atlantic all the way up to Key Largo, crossed over Key Largo, and then flew all the way down past Key West, down around the Marquesas on the Gulf side. And things look really fantastic all the way down, except for the Turkey Basin around the Great Heron National Park, which is on the north side of Cudjoe, Sugarloaf, Saddle Bunch, those keys. That big basin in there, really shallow water, and they're protected by all those Gulf keys from Snipe Key, Marvin Key, all the way up through the Content Keys. So I'm thinking that's why our water clarity hasn't cleared up yet, because a lot of that murky stuff that we saw is still trapped in that basin, and it's just getting flushed through our bays as the tides go in and out. Key West sits down at the tip of the change and isn't really blocked by those outer sandbar keys the way the lower keys are, and everything north of Big Pine Key is wide open to the Gulf on that north side. So you're getting straight flush from the Gulf of Mexico to the Atlantic. So I don't know if that's really the reason, but it makes sense to me from what we saw in the air is just how brown the water was in that Turkey Basin area still. So you get a little idea from these flights, but I'll list out here where we saw brown water and cloudy water and where the crystal clear water is. So the bad water really started around Shark Key, and that's the start of that basin on the north side of the Keys that gets trapped in the Gulf side. up to the Niles Channel. And the Bow Channel, Kemp Channel were the worst. It was nice to see people out in the Pine Channel snorkeling and lobstering out of the park there, Big Pine Key, and it was really nice. So Big Pine Channel and everything north and to the east up to Key Largo was fantastic. Thanks for joining us this week. Glad we had some positive news. We're heading out fishing for a grouper and mahi tomorrow. Next week's video, we will update you on how we did. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next week on the water.